Rachel Barber was 15 when she went missing and later turned up dead. Now, when people found out who actually committed this murder, it was shocking because it wasn't a stranger. It was someone close to the family who wanted to take over her life. Welcome back to episode 20. Tell me the crime.
Episode 20?
Yeah, babe, you were not ready for it. You were not ready for
I
the
did not
episode
listen
at all.
to.
Yeah, I was like, she's looking at her phone. She's not paying attention. I was like, this is. It's like, and then you open your eyes, like, what?
Episode 20?
Yeah, no, I think you were more shocked that we started recording.
No, I didn't hear the music this time.
Oh, okay.
The intro music.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We're ready.
Well, today's episode is kind of, disclaimer. It is about killing a teen. So, if that is going to be disturbing to you, please.
Killing a teen?
Yeah, it's a pretty messed up one. Who does that? It twisted people. No, but this one is actually I still don't really understand the motive behind the killer. Okay. So that's like the biggest thing that I kind of understand it a little bit, but not really. And you'll see what I mean as soon as we get into it. Okay, so
all right. So what's the
episode title is The Girl She Wanted to Become. The Rachel Barber case. The girl she wanted to become. It's like it's like
someone with a great life vision. Or someone who wanted to achieve something?
Well, I mean, it's ambiguous, but no. This is more about wanting to become someone. So,
the girl wanting to become somebody else.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And she's a teenager.
Yep. And the person that wants to become like her is not. I know, it's very odd, and like I said, it's an interesting but very strange case. Okay, so let's just dive right into it. Okay,
right.
We are talking about the case of Rachel Barber. She was a 15-year-old. Mm-hmm. She was living in Melbourne, Australia, with her parents and her two younger sisters. Now, she was a dancer. She was pretty serious about it too, and she went full-time to dance school at the Dance Factory in Richmond. Okay, so she had a lot going for her, right? She was passionate about dance. Dancing. She had a boyfriend. She was by all accounts well liked. She was pretty. She had a lot going. So her boyfriend's name was Manny, and people sometimes described her as shy around people she didn't know, but she warmed up really a lot once she felt comfortable. I feel like you're kind of like that.
Oh my God, I think you just read my mind because I was about to say, that's like me.
Well, the first time that we met, I thought she was going to be like this timid, like quiet person, and you kind of are around new people. But then with me, like especially when you're tired, she won't stop talking.
Oopsie.
Yeah, it's like a little kid, when they get overtired, they can't shut up. Okay, so the age does matter here, right? She is 15
years old.
She's still a kid, right? And it's also at that stage where you kind of want your own independence, right? You kind of want your own life. You want some privacy.
Yeah. Would you consider that age as a kid or a teenager already?
Well, I mean, a lot of people consider teenagers kids, right?
Teenagers kid.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, I think they're in that transition. In between. Yeah, they're in that in between stage of becoming an adult, but still a child, right? I mean, in the latest version of the sense, I guess. Mm-hmm. But you want, like I said, you want your independence, you want your money, you want to do things without necessarily having to tell your parents everything. Mm-hmm. Okay. And on Monday, March 1st, 1999, Rachel's dad drives her to a tram stop in the morning so she can get to dance. Mm-hmm. they have a normal plan for later. He'll pick her up around 6:15. Nothing special, nothing like that.
Sounds like just a normal routine.
Sounds like a normal routine, every day, right? So during the day, Rachel says a few things that don't seem huge in the moment, but they come up later, and they are obviously important later. So she tells one classmate that she's going to make a lot of money that night. Okay. She says it's with someone he doesn't know, and she'll explain it tomorrow. So that's one of her classmates she tells that to.
Well, why? How could she make money?
Well, that's the thing, right? So this is what comes to play later. But basically, someone that she knows told her that she could make some money, like a lot of money.
By performing? By
doing something. The classmate doesn't know.
Okay.
But the boyfriend knows a little bit more and says that it's someone older, someone that she knows, right? And it's a female. Just a job, money, an old female friend. So at 15 years old, though, like it makes you question things. So would you have thought that sounded dangerous to you if it was someone who was a little bit older than you and it was someone you knew and they just invited you to come to a meeting and you could make some good money?
Well, I think I will be excited because, I would make money, like the first time I would make money, but I would be very cautious. And I would probably tell my friends and tell, hey, I want to do this, but can you keep it a secret? But at least like some people will know. Or tell the people that are close to you, like your parents or something.
Yeah, which is true. But I think, unfortunately, a lot of teens don't do that because they're trying to establish themselves as independent, right? So they're trying to pull away, get their independence, do their own thing. Teens don't always want to listen to their parents, that sort of thing. So maybe she's like, oh, yeah, this is great. But they're also like naive enough because they're not grown up. They haven't experienced things the way adults have. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of, I don't know what I would do. I think I would probably be like you, though. I think I would probably
ask for my
tell
parents'
someone.
Permission.
Yeah, but you're not a normal. You weren't a normal teen, I think.
I would do that, Fair. I mean, I probably did not think that's dangerous. I did not. I would be innocent, but I would still ask for permission for the sake of, hey, I want to do this, and what do you think about it?
Right. Which is fair. But I really don't think Rachel thought she was doing anything obviously risky, right? It wasn't some random man. It wasn't someone following her, and it was supposedly an old female friend, right? So it didn't really raise any red flags.
Yeah.
But she doesn't tell Manny the name. Okay, Manny's the boyfriend. And after class, Rachel leaves with some classmates. Someone offers her a lift, and she says she'll make her own way. Another friend offers to walk with her. Rachel says, nah. And then she goes a different way than she normally would. And she's last seen by classmates walking toward Bridge Road around 5:45. Okay. Around 6:40, a woman named Allison sees Rachel on the tram, and Rachel is with an older girl, right? They get off near Trinian Street. That detail matters later because Trinian Street is where this person lived. I'm not going to say the name yet because
the older woman.
Yes, but at that moment, nobody knows that street is relevant. But keep that in mind. Trinian Street is where a certain someone lives, and I won't reveal that yet. Rachel doesn't just come home. Her dad is waiting for her at the tram stop. She doesn't show up. Her family reports her missing that night. So, a lot of people might stop and say, well, teenagers are teenagers. They often don't go home. They might go out with their friends, not tell their parents, or, they can be a little bit more rebellious. So that doesn't necessarily mean anything horrible, right? So, but that's not what the parents think. They immediately know something's wrong because they know their daughter. right? And then and so
that makes sense,
right? Because like, and I think that matters a lot when we talk about relationships with victims and their family members or significant others. Sometimes there are certain things that just don't add up. Like, for example, if you didn't text me for a while, even though you're super quick to respond to me, right? Like if it was in a normal day-to-day thing where I thought you were just sitting at home, like if I couldn't hear from you for like 4 hours, I'd start to wonder like, oh, what's going on with her? Is she okay? Like, is she,
Yeah.
But that's because that's our unique dynamic.
Yeah.
Right? So
just people around you that are close to you who
you know their habits and you know like what they normally do. Not to say you can't go 4 hours without texting me. That's totally fine. But usually I know what's going on. Yeah. So anyway, so the police don't really think anything of it. They think exactly what I just said. Teenagers run away all the time. And it's true. So
and it's only a couple of hours, right?
Yeah, but that's not exactly. So it's only a few hours. And so the police are like, this is really nothing. So even though they tell her like, oh, we hear this all the time. Kids go missing. It's just a runaway. It's no big deal. That happens all the time, right? So, that kind of doesn't get as much attention as you think it should. Then the information from Manny, the boyfriend, starts to matter. He tells Rachel's family about the job, the money, and the old female friend. And the other classmates remember her saying she was going to make money too, right? Like I said at the beginning. So now there's at least some reason to think that Rachel didn't just wander off, right? She didn't just run away like the police are telling them she did. She was doing something that night. Right. So she had arranged to meet someone. And the tram witness becomes important because she saw Rachel with an older girl. Now, on March 11th, that witness helps police create a computer image of the woman she saw with Rachel. And that woman looks like Caroline Robertson.
So that's the one who lives on that street.
You got it. You guessed it. Caroline Robertson is the one that lives on Trinian Street. Okay, so who is she? Okay. A teacher? She wasn't. No, she was not a teacher. She was not a random stranger. She had known the Barber family, but she had known them as a neighbor. Oh. And she even babysat the Barber children, including Rachel, when she was younger. So if Rachel heard from Carolyn, she wouldn't necessarily think, oh, this is dangerous, right? Carolyn was already someone from the family's past. Like, she was her babysitter. Why would you think anything bad? Right? So, do you think that's enough as a former babysitter? Do you think that's like kind of a, almost a green flag because you kind of look up to them, right? Like if I saw my old babysitter, I would never assume anything diabolical. I would never assume
anything, but like with all the news around, probably I would be a little bit suspicious, but not so. It's kind of, I have a sense, or I have this feeling, but right? No, I try to be logical, and there is no evidence yet.
Yeah, I get it. And I would, I'd probably think the same way, right? But so a little bit about like, Carolyn, she was actually 20 years old when Rachel was killed. She was living alone in an apartment in Prawn and working in an administrative job, like telecommunications of some sort. So they described, the court later described Carolyn as intelligent but deeply unhappy, right? And even her own account of her childhood was complicated. She said, conflict at home, criticism, feeling like a bad kid, feeling like she could never do anything right. She talked about being bullied, feeling lonely, having a few close friends, and hating the way she looked. But that, I don't want that to sound like an explanation, right? Bad, just because you had a lot of, stuff happen when you were a kid. Maybe you were bullied, you felt lonely, right? You might hate yourself. a lot of people have that experience and they still don't kill anyone, right? Yeah. Or, kidnap or whatever, right? But but what matters is that Carolyn seemed to fixate on Rachel. Okay, that's an important point. So in 1997, Carolyn arranged to take photos of Rachel for what she said was a school project. Now, the sentencing judge basically said that there already seemed to be some fascination with Rachel by that point. Then in the summer before Rachel died, Carolyn called Rachel's home and asked one of Rachel's sisters for the birthdays of Rachel and her sisters. She said it was for a project. Now that to me,
what school project?
Exactly.
Wait, so
she's 20, right? So, or actually, it was the summer before Rachel died, so she would have been 19. So she probably would have been in college or some sort of school. She could convince people anyway it was for a school project. She's at the right age for college, university level. Yeah. So the even creepier thing is it was found out later that Carolyn applied for Rachel's birth certificate.
What? Why?
Exactly. That's the question, right? Huh? But it fits into the larger narrative that we'll talk about, that with this fixation on Rachel, right? She was kind of obsessed with her.
Yeah. So I think Caroline is probably jealous of Rachel's life because she was kind of taking care of her as a nanny, right? So
and she probably
really
saw what she was
what
like.
The family is like, and she wants that kind of life.
Pretty much the opposite, right? Of
what
exactly
she experienced.
Yeah, exactly. So, getting back to the part about Rachel's birth certificate being applied for by Caroline, that's super weird.
I'm so confused about that. That's so weird.
I don't understand that either. And this is what I was saying. Like, there are some details about this case where they just are a little bit confusing.
So, was she applying?
But I'm thinking it matters
for
later.
Her?
She was applying for Rachel's birth certificate to try to get Rachel's original birth certificate so that maybe she could take
the identity?
her identity, or maybe she could, do something else with it. And I'll tell you my other theory once I give you more information about what actually happened. So Caroline had clearly been thinking about this and things to do with Rachel at least a year before everything went down. And she was collecting information. Now, the night before Rachel disappears, there are 2 calls from Carolyn's home phone to Rachel's home. One lasts about 15 minutes. The other is almost 30 minutes. The next day, Rachel is telling people she has a job, she's going to make money, and she's meeting an old friend. So when witness image looks like Carolyn, police obviously go to her apartment first. At the time, when they first go there, nobody answers. But later that day, they go back with keys from the estate agent because obviously they have a warrant at this point. But the keys don't work. Okay, so maybe she changed her lock. I don't know. They call the apartment phone over and over. No answer. So the fire brigade helps them get in through an open bedroom window. And inside, they find Carolyn on the floor near the foot of her bed, apparently unconscious. Okay. So a little odd.
Yeah.
But then they find empty packets of Tegretol in the flat.
What is that?
So it's apparently used for epilepsy treatment. And Carolyn had epilepsy. So a psychologist later suggested that police arriving may have triggered like an epileptic fit. Right. And because I don't know if that's because I guess, anxiousness and things like that can be more triggering. I'm assuming. So police search the apartment for Rachel. They don't find her, but they do find bags of clothing. And the court says that the clothes clearly did not belong to Carolyn, but they were around Rachel's size. So they were definitely not Carolyn's clothes, but they looked like Rachel's size. it's not enough by itself to say exactly.
Well, that's not.
Right.
Yeah, that's not enough. It's
not enough to say what they were even for, right? But the court doesn't, and they don't definitely say that they were Rachel's clothes, but it just says they looked like hers and
the size,
about her size, right?
Yeah, just pointing toward her.
Exactly. So it doesn't say Carolyn bought them or anything like that, but it's obviously suspicious. And later, it gets even more suspicious because Carolyn's written plan includes Rachel packing clothes as a part of this fake study or runaway setup. So, the idea or the what people put forward as to what possibly happened was Carolyn wanted to kill Rachel and then take those clothes and make it look like she ran away. At least that's my best guess of what happened, right? Because they didn't say that those were actually Rachel's clothes. But it also might explain why she applied for her birth certificate. Maybe she was preparing a bag with her birth certificate with a whole bunch of other things to say like, hey, look at this, like Rachel ran away. Yeah. And they find her backpack somewhere far away or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh. That's very interesting because if I'm assuming that she really wanted to have Rachel's life and then she was trying to get a birth certificate, what will she do with that? Because
I think
she could not jump into like the family, right? Like,
well, that's not what I don't think she was trying to take her place necessarily. I think that she was
just building the scenario.
Building a scenario of like how she could make it look like Rachel didn't get killed, right? Because if teens run away and then the police are not looking for her because they assume that she ran away, which they were already thinking, then they might stop looking for her, right? So that I think maybe that's what she was going to do. So anyway, but there's a lot of suspicious stuff going on, and she doesn't. She's taken to the hospital by ambulance because she's passed out, right, from potentially epilepsy. And a detective from Missing Persons goes with her. And that night, he questions her about Rachel. And she admits that she killed her.
Whoa. Wait, did the police find the body?
The police did not find the body. That's the thing, right? At this point, they haven't found anything, right?
Yeah.
So the next day, police search a property in Kilmore owned by Carolyn's father. Now, Rachel's body is found in a shallow grave in a small grove of trees there.
Oh my God.
So they did find her, and it's, related to Carolyn again, right? So it's pretty clear she killed Rachel. She had apparently been wrapped in blankets, and there was a cable around her neck. And the autopsy found probable cause of death was ligature strangulation from the cord. So from like the phone cord, right? Yeah. So it was very likely that what caused her death. And the details, though, of like what exactly happened, are not entirely clear, but they're from mostly what Carolyn later told a psychologist. So apparently, Rachel and Carolyn had picked up pizzas. Carolyn had bought alcohol, but Rachel apparently wasn't interested in drinking it. So Carolyn was probably trying to get her like comfortable, try to get her a little loose, maybe make her drink too much, pass out, who knows, right? But later that didn't work for her, right? Because the bottles were essentially still full when they found the evidence.
But did Rachel confess about all of this?
This is what Carolyn told her psychologist, right?
Carolyn, not Rachel.
Yeah, this is what Carolyn told the psychologist about Rachel, right? Okay, so what Carolyn said happened is this. She said she asked Rachel to do a meditation exercise, right, when they were there. And, it sounds like this is like not a big deal. It's harmless, of course. Meditation is great. I mean, I've even, I've published on how great meditation can be for even cognition, right? So, but, so it does sound harmless. Rachel was a dancer. She did theater arts training. So if someone tells her, okay, close your eyes, relax, like think of happy things, she might not feel like that's totally weird. And then Caroline tells her to think of happy and pleasant things. And then she strangles Rachel with a telephone cord.
What did she get, though, by doing that? It's just like satisfaction that somebody will not have the life that the person wanted? Or?
Yeah, that's kind of like what the idea here is that, like, and that's why I was saying I don't really understand why she needed to kill Rachel for this. Like, I understand that she was jealous, right? Yeah. She was clearly jealous of her life.
But she couldn't get anything.
But what are you going to get out of it by killing her? Like, that's the part that I was telling you at the beginning. I said, like, I don't really understand her motive. Like, I understand that she saw Rachel as, someone, was she jealous of her? And she just like, it pissed her off that she wasn't that type of person, right? Or did she, I don't know. Or maybe she wanted to get her out of the way and sort of become Rachel with all of her backstory and everything, right? Because, and the reason I think that is because there's another detail that they talk about where they found some notes. Okay, so in the apartment, Caroline actually had notes, detailed notes about like the plan and like what to do, how to dispose of Rachel's body, all this stuff. And then she also had notes. Yeah, I know. It's really twisted, right?
Yeah. I was thinking of the note would be about, the kind of life that I want. But why do you even detail the plans to kill somebody? Because
I don't know.
That's very easy evidence that
I know, but I think she was thinking she wouldn't get caught, and that no one would really go looking for her, and then maybe she'd throw them out later, but she just didn't get a chance to, right? Because I don't know, but that was really confusing to me. So yeah, she had lots of different notes on that. And the reason I brought that up too is that there was a note in there that she planned to change her name
to Rachel?
No. It was, let me find it here. I can't remember, but it was an interesting name. It doesn't matter, but the point is that she wanted to be a
fresh start
as a 16-year-old.
What?
Yeah. She wanted to be she basically wanted to be Rachel. Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Well, maybe what do you think of the psychological lessons in here? I have something in mind, but I want to hear it from you.
Oh man. What do I think is happening here?
What do you think is happening?
I'm open to hearing.
What would be kind of like the solutions for this?
She could have seen her as like I said, there might have been one thing where she could have thought she was
she has a perfect life. Like,
she has a perfect life.
The grass is always greener on the other side.
What if I can kill her and then take her life? And if I can hang out in similar, like if I can hang out in a circle like her friends, maybe I can become her, like in another place. And if I use her stories, that'll never, like, no one will ever be suspicious if they don't hear from Rachel to contradict her. I don't know. That's just a random guess. But what do you think? Tell me.
What I'm thinking is somebody wants to have an identity and a life of someone else. As I said before, the grass is always greener on the other side, right?
Right.
So this person is maybe having self-crisis. Is that a term? Like, I want to have that kind of identity, but I cannot. So the solution is probably starting from accepting who you are and your life, because even if you kill somebody, you kill who is the name again? I kind of
What, the person
Caroline,
who,
Caroline killed Rachel, she would not be able to have Rachel's life.
No,
right?
she wouldn't.
And like, if you want to have someone's life and you feel jealous about it, you try to kill that person.
Right.
Will that solve the problem? No, because the problem is
it won't. And that's
the person is facing that problem. So
I know.
We should look inward, right?
Yeah, exactly. But that's why I'm so confused by this, right? Because the motive doesn't quite make sense, right?
She just wants to get rid of whatever.
Maybe
she
doesn't. Yeah, and maybe because she's been, who knows? Maybe she was like stalking her or something, and maybe that was. She was seeing how great her life. It bothered her too much. She didn't want to keep seeing that as a reminder of what she doesn't have, right? But I mean, another solution is just stop stalking her, like stop. You know what I mean? But I don't know. These are listeners, don't take anything that I'm saying right now as fact. I'm just guessing here. Okay, so I found the new identity. It was Gem Southall. That's the new identity she wanted. 16 years old, and she had like made up parents. She then wrote about Rachel the way she wrote about So she wanted to become a 16-year-old, with a life kind of like Rachel is what I'm getting from this.
I could understand that maybe people want to have like a fresh start, like a new life, new identity, but I would not take that literally. It's like, you move to a new place and you're going to have a nice start and give yourself, I'm just going to start better today. I will be a better person.
The thing is though, is that she wanted to steal her stories, right? It sounds like she wanted to like take Rachel's story and use kind of like her style, her dancing, her personality, the fact that she, dated young, tried modeling, changed schools, all this stuff. Like she wanted to take that identity and use it. So she clearly read, she clearly not read up about, she clearly like studied Rachel in some capacity, right? Like it was very clear that she was taking a lot of notes and she was practicing to sort of like become a version of her. Yeah.
That's kind of well-known saying, not really, really well-known, but I mean, I have heard that hater is someone who actually loves you.
Yeah. You know what? That's so funny. Yeah. I found that. The person
is always looking at you and wants to be like you and wants to imitate you and all that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I mean, it's like with little kids when they're younger. You might have like a little boy teasing a little girl or a little girl teasing a little boy, and then you find out, later that it was because they had a crush on the other one. I mean, I was told that when I was in elementary school, there was a girl that used to like kick me. She'd kick me in the balls sometimes, So like, God, like I didn't understand that she was so mean.
No, she was just trying to get the attention.
She told me that actually, like years later when we met up as adults. Like it was funny. Anyway, okay, so Caroline also told Rachel that the study was confidential. So this thing that she was doing, that could make her tons of money was not something she could talk about. She couldn't tell her boyfriend. She couldn't tell her parents. So if I had heard that detail, I think I would have been a little bit cautious.
I would probably do the opposite.
But I'm not victim blaming here, right? Not at all. Not at all. This is a very tragic story, it's really about an adult taking advantage of the innocence of a kid, right?
And so, do you know how the parents reacted
to all of this?
Yeah.
I mean, they were devastated, right? They were just, I'm sure that they were angry.
Well, they were shocked,
distraught.
For sure.
They're shocked. I mean, I don't think anyone would have expected that the person that used to babysit your kids lured and killed one of them. Yeah, it's really pretty messed up. Yeah. So there's tons of evidence now at this point, right? So she writes all of these things on scattered, pieces of paper throughout. Talks about the birth certificate, going for licenses, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So when the police find clothing in Caroline's flat that doesn't belong to Carolyn and is around Rachel's size, they start to piece things together. That was part of the plan, right? And the notes also talk about meeting Rachel outside of Flinders, ordering pizza and lacing it with like a powder that will make you drowsy, or going through the meaning of the bag and using relaxation techniques, a toxic cloth over her mouth, which you always see those in movies. What's it called again? The drug that people use for that. Maybe we shouldn't tell people this.
No, don't
give people ideas. But yeah, so anyway, she has all of these notes. So it's really tragic. It was, again, it's one of those things where I don't quite understand why she needed to kill her in order to do that. But the only thing I can think of is really that she either saw her around and didn't like being reminded that she didn't have that, or she wanted to use Rachel's identity and use that to start a new life. Yeah. So here's an interesting question for you, though. Do you think that when we talk about envy, do you think, and I bring this up because this case is very unique. Do you think it's about wanting what someone has or wanting to get rid of the person who makes you feel bad about yourself? Right. So that's a bit of a different question and a different perspective.
Yeah.
On motive. And it could be both.
I think both are interrelated.
Exactly.
There is something missing in you, and then maybe we don't really understand what that puzzle is. But when we see other people's lives, for example, we kind of that's really interesting. And because you feel like I don't have that, and it brings a jealousy. And then if you keep growing that, then that will be,
I know,
it becomes something that you want to.
Yeah.
What is the word? You want to manifest,
right, exactly.
You want to get it
that you aspire to.
Yeah.
So, well, you want that's exactly it. But here's the thing about looking at someone else's life and wanting what they have is that people often miss that their lives are not always perfect.
No,
especially
that's true.
if you're just looking from one lens, right?
Yeah.
You're seeing it from an outsider's perspective.
Think
about
those
Instagram
are just
pictures
curated facts, right?
Exactly.
We just take pictures in certain moment, and that's all.
Exactly.
But it does not tell us the whole story.
Exactly. And you select which moments you want to share with the public, and you hide others. Right. So,
or probably we don't intentionally hide others, but the platform itself is designed designed to just show a glimpse of something.
Exactly. Yeah. And usually, if you're sad or depressed or something like that, you just want to be on your own. You're not going to want. I mean, some people do it, I guess, but you don't usually want to film yourself crying and put it up on the. Some people do that though, which is.
No, I
don't really understand
something
that.
I want to say is whatever feeling or emotion, if you entertain that, then you will grow it, right? If there is the negative emotion, for example, and we are entertaining that negative emotion, then it will grow. The same thing as positive. If you want to be positive, if you got even tiny things, but you're super grateful about it, then better energy will come.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree.
But I will not blame though, people with depression and some kind of conditions that are not really fortunate. People struggle, but I think the best thing that we could do is to remind ourselves, okay, I know that I'm really sad, but what is actually one small step that can take me back to I don't know, the middle ground or the road, and remind ourselves that we're okay.
We're okay. Exactly. It's all about,
perfect.
Trying to shift your perspective.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Shifting the perspective.
Exactly. Yeah. But you want to hear one of the saddest things about this whole case?
What?
Well, I mean, the whole case is tragic, but one of the saddest things is that Caroline's parents later revealed that Caroline never saw the full Rachel because Rachel actually struggled academically. She stopped dancing for a while because she had health problems and fear around ballet. So she had a bunch of insecurities that, were just not evident to people. And so she was a real person. Caroline never really saw that. She just saw, oh, she's a dancer. She's a pretty girl. She laughs a lot. She's got tons of friends. She's got a boyfriend.
It's
that's
all
that people are seeing, but that's not who they are.
What she wanted to pay attention to at that time.
Yeah. Well, you also have that confirmation bias, right? Where you pay attention to the things that you want or that theory that you have, and then you discard or ignore the rest, right? And so it gives you this like biased perspective.
Well, I think that kind of experience
Mm-hmm.
probably very humane, right? A lot of people or everyone actually experiences that. But it's only the matter of, again, are you going to ruminate in that or you come to term to have the self-acceptance in some capacity?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. So,
I think it's psychologically rich.
It is a psychologically
it's very
rich.
relatable to
Yeah, it is. And I was going to say exactly that. It's psychologically not simple at all. Yeah. Leaves you with a lot of questions of, how comparison, like with these cases.
Yeah.
So with Instagram or whatever it is, just looking at someone, how that can turn into obsession over time, right? You see people like once they see something that they're like, oh man, that must be nice. And then they look at it again and then again. And that, association gets stronger and stronger. And those neural networks get more linked, right? It can turn into something like an obsession, right?
Well, we always have the tendency to do that. And I told you it's really a good idea to have some kind of positive reminders, although we probably have the knowledge, but we don't always practice the knowledge.
That's true.
So
that's true.
When we hear the reminders, that's
the reminders, and that's also why we talk
grounded.
Exactly, and that's why a lot of people talk about keeping your social circle of friends. You want them to have you want them to be positive. You want them to be
that's very important.
If you're surrounded by people who have traits that you desire or that you have but you want to maintain or things like that, the best thing to do is surround yourself with those people, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you are that is the Bible verse about that, and some other positive.
You are who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, like 5 people around you or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the verse,
but I don't know the verse, but there are some also the words of affirmations. Yeah. About that thing, but the positive circle and get the positive reminder. It's really necessary.
Exactly.
We tend to forget things.
We do, but anyway, so that is the case for today of Rachel Barber and the unfortunate end that she had to endure. So sad one. Really sad one.
Yeah. Psychologically rich.
Psychologically rich, but very, very,
Yeah,
sad.
Thank you for telling us the crime.
Well, you're welcome. So next week on Tell Me the Crime, episode 21. We have no idea what we're going to do yet, but we'll do something good. Do something juicy. And if anyone has any ideas about what they want to hear more about, or something that you're saying, oh, that episode was good, that one was trash, we're learning, so we'd appreciate any feedback. And I believe the email that we have is listeners@tellmethecrime.com. Is that right? Okay. So hit us up, talk to us, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Bye.